What is up, denizens of the interwebs? It's Arza Chats here, and it's a nice Saturday morning, so I figured I'm going to try something a bit new since I just got off of work not too long ago. Where instead of just exclusively covering the news, I could take this time, do a second news video, maybe do my video for tomorrow, but that'd be smart, so I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to do something. So recently, I've been starting to get into collecting physical media, so what I'm thinking I'm going to be doing is every week I'll be showing off whatever haul I get from whatever I'm buying, whether it's more physical media I'm getting or stuff I'm bringing back to campus from home. It's something small, it's something fun, and it's just a way for me to say that I'm making videos of things, so if I ever get monetized, technically I made content off of XYZ thing that I bought, so technically it would be a tax write-off if I ever get monetized. Well, we'll see if that ever happens. But what's the worst thing that happens? It doesn't do too well, it brings down my average views and makes it so my worst doing videos look like they're more of a success. I see nothing wrong with this situation whatsoever. So without further ado, let's get into this. In my opinion, the most impressive thing that I got over the weekend, because it was a long break, so I stopped at I stopped at a Goodwill, and I managed to find this. Oh, I just turned it on. Oops. I managed to find this, a Blu-ray player. Oh, good lord. Oh, I gotta check that disc. Everything's good. They just made a weird noise because I had rotated it while the disc was spinning because it had turned itself on. I didn't want it to do that. But it's really cool. It's a higher end one. I paid $7 for this. It connects to the Wi-Fi. It has access to streaming services, which I never really thought about Blu-ray players having that capacity. But I'm not going to complain too much. It's pretty freaking neat. And then accompanying it, I went to a half-price book, so I loaded up on a bunch of movies. All of them were cheap. Most of these I haven't seen, or if I have seen them, I haven't seen them in a really long time. And I specifically chose ones either that I really like or are really hard to get on streaming. So, first of all, Firefly. It's almost an impossible TV show. It's a great TV show. It's on Disney and Hulu, but it's the greatest TV show I've ever seen. It was $8, so I bought it. And then, of course, Serenity, which I got because this isn't on any streaming service. It hasn't been for a while. And it's like $5 to rent, and this was $6. So that way I can watch it whenever I want without having to pirate it or rent it. Ghostbusters 1 and 2. Thankfully, only one of those movies is worth watching because the case for Ghostbusters 2 is empty. So no Ghostbusters 2, but Ghostbusters 1 is in here, and because I wasn't very smart, I didn't bother to check to make sure everything was there before I did it. It also came with this notepad looking thing, this little breakdown, a bunch of stuff in there. Looks like it got some concept art, some scrap stuff that was going on, like just some neat little stuff that's hidden in there. I bought Dredd because it was $7. I've never seen Dredd. I don't think it's on streaming service. I didn't see it last time I looked. And people talk about the fact that this is one of the best comic movies ever made. Now, I didn't know that there were two different versions of Dredd movies when I got this. I found that out afterwards. But I believe this is the Carl Urban version, because apparently the Sylvester Stallone one is just terrible. I got a collector's case of John Wayne movies. It has 15 of his movies and then a booklet that's a bit of his biography and discography, which is kind of cool. I didn't really get this for myself. I more got this so that when my grandfather is over at the house, I'll bring my Blu-ray player over and he has something to watch because he really likes Westerns, and streaming services have horrible Westerns on them. Like, you can't find very good ones at all. It's kind of weird. And then I got Blade, all 4 movies for $5. I think that's a pretty good deal. All 4 of them are in here. I don't know why they included 4 movies when there are only 2 from my understanding, or maybe even only 1. I know I've seen Blade 1 a long time ago. I remember nothing about it. I don't have any memory, so I'm going to watch that as well at some point in time. And then probably the favorite thing I got, the only 3 Indiana Jones movies to ever exist. Now you're wondering, there's 4 movies in here. What do I mean only 3? Well, this is not a movie. This is bonus material of like how it's made, interviews, and other stuff like that. That's kind of cool. The box is in kind of rough shape, but all the DVDs are in perfect condition. Thankfully, none of the DVDs I bought were scratched because I was dumb and didn't check them because I forgot to do that. Only problem is I haven't used a DVD player in a long time, so I'm messaging some older people can I stop the DVD player in the middle? Can I eject in the middle of playing? I forget. But apparently they have a stopper in there, so the disc doesn't get scratched up, thankfully. But I do remember you don't rotate them, because as I just saw, when I rotated it when it accidentally turned on, it definitely made a screeching noise that was not good. On top of that, I added some stuff to hopefully increase production value. I got these lights. They suck. They're not good at all. I can change the color, so that's cool. I'm really blue now. Holy shit, that's really blue. I usually have to change both of them once, but yeah, this is not doing anything to the camera for the most part. And the idea was to hopefully use these to counteract the whitewashing from whatever article, right? Because most of these articles don't have dark mode, because that would be too easy. Hey, John F. Trent and Bounding to the Comics, you guys should get on that. Same thing with you, Smash AT. Just a little nice thing. Those are all my new purchases. Now, what I brought back from home, I guess I'll start with the newer stuff first. So I brought this. I've actually had this for about 2 weeks now, but I lent it to my twin sister so she could play Nintendogs, and then thankfully she found it. So I managed to get it back from her. It also has this capture device, which basically allows for the emulation of 600 plus Nintendo games, so that's pretty cool. But it's only DSi, no 3DS games on there, which is kind of lame. And I have this entire bag filled to the brim with DSi and 3DS games. Some of these I already had in my dorm. I forget which ones I brought recently, but I have Mutant Insects, Zelda, Mystery Dungeon. I hear amazing things about Mystery Dungeon. I've never actually played a Mystery Dungeon game. Chaotic, a franchise no one seems to know about, but I remember absolutely adoring. Both Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which is pretty cool. Pokemon Sun, which I literally just picked up about 2 months ago at a half-price books for $20, so that was cool. Kung Zoo, which was a game, I guess, made up of those, like, vibrating guinea pigs that would just, like, crawl around everywhere, that were really popular with women, but I guess they made ninja versions of them for boys. I don't know, it was weird. Scribblenauts, a classic. Pokemon White 2. Luigi's Mansion. Dark Moon. I'm doing terrible at this. Luigi's Mansion, Dark Moon. Pokemon Rangers, a classic. Coraline game. This was my sister's, so I don't even know what's in there. Lego Battles, which is by far the best Lego DSi game. Zoo Tycoon. Bakugan, Battle of the Swords. I actually had both Bakugan games, but it seems I only have one of them now. At least that I know where it is. Lego Batman, which I've recently found is completely different than the Steam version because I've been playing through it. And then Cars 2, the video game. It's a bit of an odd haul, I know. Bit of an odd selection of games. Several of those I got in someone who was selling them on Facebook Marketplace. $15 for like half a dozen games, so I bought them all. It was cheap. It had X and Y and Mystery Dungeon, so it was definitely worth my time. And then on top of that, I also have an original Game Boy that I got from my grandparents a couple years ago, but I just decided to bring to campus as I was going to use it to try and check to see if some Game Boy games at Half Price Books or a game shop nearby or game store nearby actually worked. I didn't end up buying or checking any of them because their selection was terrible. But, that's the contrast, because you can change the contrast, which is cool. Let's see. Just got some Tetris going. It's pretty cool. And then on top of Tetris, I also have, if I can open this, I don't know if I can. I don't know how to open this. There we go. Caesar's Palace for the Game Boy. Because why not? I don't know. And some of the cooler stuff that I have that I recently got to bring to campus because they were at my parents' house and I had to stop and get them because my roommate wants to see them, are these foam LARP, I hate that term, but LARP daggers, weapons that I got from Kalamazoo a few years ago. Amazing quality. I love these things. Sorry, Mike. They're super strong. They don't break. They don't hurt. These things are great. This dagger is really nice. I have this elvish sword that I chose the color white for because it looks good. It's perfectly weighted. I'll have to see if Shadowversity has any reviews of them, but I know that Kalamazoo made a sword for Shadowversity, and the company who made these are actually the company who made the swords on the set of Netflix's The Witcher. They're all foam, so it's all safe. You know, you can hit yourself. You can't cut yourself with these. You might get a bit of a friction burn. You might get a bruise, but you're not going to get really hurt. And they're really sturdy. And then I also have this custom one this was my first one I had bought. I designed it using their sword designer because they have an amazing sword designer. I should say, this is not sponsored. Please sponsor me. I would love a Kalamazoo sponsor. Kalamazoo is one of the greatest sword companies. They're super kind. They're super nice. This one was messed up, and I was a stupid teenager. So because this is supposed to be all painted, and there are parts like the foam on the blade was all dented because it's like designs I'm supposed to have, and I had sent them an email because it was kind of not what I was expecting. It was messed up, and I just wanted the paint job. So they were like, "We'll send you a new sword, and then you just donate that one to a local LARP club." I should have taken that offer. Instead, I was like, "No, just give me my money back for the coloration mess up and for the lack of for the damage and lack of quality in the blade." And what they did is they only refunded the refurb cost. So I got like 15% reduction, but they didn't refund the $40 I spent for the paint job and the handle, which was annoying. But still, even though this sword was of a subpar quality when I got it, it holds up excellent, hasn't broken yet. It's got a very nice core. The core goes up to here. These things are excellent. I have 2 more weapons like that. I have Ziraella's sword from Witcher 3, the one that Ciri used. It's a beautiful blade. It's got a very ornate handle, which is very impressive for a foam handle to look pretty and ornate. Only problem is the blade's very thin because it's a women's sword. So the core rod cuts off very high up. So like the rod ends like around here on that blade. So when you get hit by it, the tip, it whips. So if you block, you can get hit by the whip and that will leave a mark. And then the other thing I have is Destiny 2's Arc Staff, which is a 6'4" polearm double-sided spear. Excellent weapon. It's basically unbeatable. It's amazing. But yeah, that's pretty much all the stuff that I have to show off today. In the future, I doubt it will take 11 minutes for me to show off all the stuff that I've got, all the neat stuff I have. And I won't have to preamble as long as I did for that one. It'll mostly be smaller things. You know, like I expected next episode of this, I'm probably going to have the Godzilla -1 collection, because now that I have a player for it, I have a reason to buy it. And that movie was phenomenal. I'll also probably show off like Steam games again. And since I'm actually planning to start expanding my CD collection, I probably will be getting 4 more CDs. So in the future, I'm expecting these videos to only be 2 to 5 minutes long. Of course, unless there's a reason for it to go over. For instance, I managed to actually go to, say, a half-price books and load up on stuff. But I don't foresee that as being a big thing that I'm doing a lot. I also got a very pretty sake set from the Goodwill when I got the Blu-ray player, but I left it at home because it was old and dirty, so I had to wash it. Probably should have brought it here, but I don't have any sake, so it is fine. But for those people who care, and for those who don't, if you stay this long, that's pretty cool. I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you guys on the next one.